so excited to see you.
You know how excited I am, right? Oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this. This is like...
Excited to see
I'm
your brain.
excited and it's a little nervous, but at the same time, very excited to see what's going on inside this head of mine, right?
Well, it's very interesting. So many people, like my wife, just grew up following your work. So the impact you've had has just been awesome. But neither you or I want to see the effects of aging on our brain, right? We want to be vital and go forward as long as we can, as clear as we can. So I did your podcast, and then I floated the idea of you coming here. And you said...
I jumped at it.
Yes.
I jumped at it. I've been following you, Dr. Amen, forever now. And I've been fascinated with what you do, partially, which, we've talked about this, partially because of the trauma that I experienced when I was a late teenager, and the work that I've done through the years to manage some of the behaviors that came out of that. But in general, just watching you help so many people and understanding the brain. And I think, this thing about the body, this whole connection between the body and the brain, how can you ignore it?
And people don't get that. They think of the mind as separate from the body, but your brain, the physical functioning of your brain, creates your mind. And so if your body that feeds the brain is healthy, you're not going to be healthy. I read your history. Thank you for doing that. And it said you love your brain and you meditate. And
I think it's the way my brain functions, but yeah, go ahead.
But you have a busy brain or a quiet brain. There's a lot of caffeine. There's a repetitive thought pattern. So I wanted to learn about that and what you meant by that.
I think it has to do a repetitive thought pattern tied into what should I do? Am I doing the right thing? So those things go hand in hand. And I almost think this thing about not being able to pull the trigger to do the right thing gets this repetitive thought pattern. So let me give you an idea. I've been dating somebody off and on for the last 10 years. We have great vacations, great trip. We have great, sex. We have great things together. There are a lot of things that is just a completely different lifestyle. And it's not my lifestyle and it's not what I want. So the question is, why do I stay in it? Especially now this person is saying, and has over the years, let's move in together. Let's be such and such. And I stay with the person, but the thought pattern, the repetitive thought pattern is, God, I can't believe he did that. He is such a, he is, how shallow is that? He doesn't know anything about what I do. He doesn't understand me at all, or whatever that thought pattern. And why am I with him? And why am I with him? And then, hi, oh my God, of course I'd like to go to Spain next week. Well, that sounds fantastic. Madrid, yeah, count me in. And so that thing, which not honoring myself in some ways, of why what is it in the brain? What is it that just what is that fear of no, not the right one. We have, and the words will come out of my mouth when he says, let's try it again. Move in, come to LA. He's gonna, come to LA, move in. And I'll say, we've tried this over and over again. And no, I'm, not willing to go there now, but I can, get an apartment or something in LA so I can spend a little bit more time here. So it's and then I say those words come out of my mouth and I think, why do I do that? Why am I afraid? It's either afraid of moving away or afraid of stepping in.
So we'll look at your frontal lobes, which are involved with judgment.
Yes, my what?
We'll look at your frontal lobes
okay.
because they're involved in judgment, decision making. And we'll look at your anxiety centers. And, given the early losses, attachment can be an issue. Has it been an issue for you in the past if you look over the last 50 years?
And getting attached. You're saying getting attached, or is that it? Yeah, attachment. Is that, yeah.
Because it sounds like for the last 10 years, you're sort of attached.
Well, the one thing, oh my God, this is coming up right now. I don't think I put this in my history now that you bring it up, but there was, and I'm going to tiptoe a little bit around this one, but still try to explain it. Married, 2 children, amazing dad, had some addiction issues. We won't go into the types of addiction, but he had some addiction issues. And there was, I could get emotional on this one, but there was a complete betrayal on ways that everybody goes to probably right now. And they go, oh, I know. I go, in ways that you can't even imagine. And that knocked me for a loop when I was 50. So I for my children, and this is a point where I was really came out with moving through menopause. I was on the Oprah show. I was on the Today Show. I would go and I would literally go into the bathroom, have a good cry, get out my under eye cream, run out, yay, and do what you needed to be done. And I felt the weight of having to hold everything together, sort of for the family, for the kids, for my ex now, who happens to be a lovely man, but was going through some very troubled times. And then I became the rescuer, the person that had to stay strong, get the job done, keep everybody together. Keep everybody together, meaning, just help unravel the situation we were in. I mean, and solve it in the sense of the issues. Anyway, so that, when I got through that, I think that more so than even the parents for the abandonment thing, because I went through therapy, et cetera, when, not right away. I think, I ran away from my parents dying and the impact it had. But the time I was in, my late 20s, early 30s, I was, had gone through and I was doing therapy to process. And I feel pretty good about that, honestly. I can talk about my parents. I love them. I feel, I understand it. I understand the impact it had on me. But this other one, I don't know if I maybe processed that as well. And I didn't, because I was helping so many other people that they became the priority.
And you're a fixer.
I'm a fixer.
Yeah. I wrote a book called Your Brain is Always Listening. And I talk about the dragons from the past. They're always breathing fire on our emotional brain. And you have the responsible dragon. You
definitely,
fix,
big time.
You fix things.
I fix with my family, with my,
Yeah, but you also have the grief and loss dragon from your parents, but also from your marriage. All right, let's look at your skin. This is why people come to see me. So SPECT. This is healthy, and I'm going to show you.
Okay.
So SPECT is a study that looks at blood flow and activity. Actually looks at mitochondrial function. So when I interviewed Chris Palmer. I emailed him the research on SPECT because he said the unifying theory of mental illness is mitochondrial dysfunction. I'm like, well, I measure mitochondrial function. And so SPECT tells us three things: good activity, too little, or too much. And then my job is to balance. The image on the left, we're looking at the outside surface. In a healthy scan, it should just be full, even, and symmetrical. Top left, we're looking underneath the brain. So the top is the front part of the brain, bottom is the back. It's really important. This is the cerebellum. It's half the brain's neurons. It's involved in processing speed and coordination. You've been working at your cerebellum for a period of time, right? All the videos, nonstop work for your cerebellum. The bottom right view, looking down from the top, just like this. And the color doesn't matter, the ones on the left. It's the shape. It just should be full, even, symmetrical. The images on the right, the color does matter. Blue is average activity. Red is the top 15%. White is the top 8%. And it should be here in your cerebellum. So if we look at your scan, remember I said your brain got hurt? You can see it right here. So you don't have holes in your brain. But what that means is there's significantly low blood flow in your right parietal. So if you were going to fall out of a tree, and you wanted my opinion on where to hit your head, it would be back right. Because you'd be in a little bit of denial. And your direction sense might be off, but it's not really going to give you a lot of behavior problems.
So when you say hole, do you see a hole there?
See it right here?
Okay, that hole.
Now here in the front, I think it could have been trauma. Can be aging. Either way, we want to see if we can make it better. You have a lot of great brain function. These are your temporal lobes. Now, if you do everything I say, come back in 6 months.
Doctor, tell me, what do I do?
We can make it better.
Okay, so go back though. I guess how do we pop that out? You're going to tell
you ever
me.
done hyperbaric oxygen?
I have not.
I love it so
you love
much.
it?
I love it.
They just
I
opened
published studies on it.
Really?
And significant improvements in blood flow and activity. If we look at your active scan, it's pretty normal. You have a gorgeous cerebellum, which one would expect given how much exercise you've done and coordination exercises that you've done. That's the big thing. It's not just running. It's moving in lots of different ways that enhances your brain. So I'm like a huge fan of dancing.
Right.
And tennis, table tennis, and pickleball.
I love it all.
So, my impression, you're amazing. And I adore you.
Thank you.
And I can help your brain do better.
I love it.
It's only good news, right? You're already amazing. Your brain's not headed for dementia. But let's prevent it from further aging and see if we can reverse it.
I thank you for that. I have a lot that I want to do in the next 15, 20 years. And I want, this part to work and of course this part. So I'm excited about it.
Best time in your life.
I know. Honestly, people think this aging thing, it is so much fun. If you have your brain and your body to work, and they're not like, you're not in a lot of pain and you have those two things that are working and functioning, it is like an amazing time in life. You have all these experiences. You have, you let go of the small stuff. Things don't worry you as much as they used to. And there's, just this bright, bright future. So I'm excited about it. And that's why I was excited to come to see you, because I do believe this is the next, this next 15, 20 years is going to be a highlight of my life.